Hello, hello, and welcome back for another adventure in the cookie jar. Today we are doing the 11th recipe from the Key Lime Pie Murder. They're called Spicy Dreams. There are quite a few notes on this recipe. Mostly, I guess in the book, it's a recipe she got from someone else. So we are preheating the oven to 350. So that's pretty similar. This is Hannah's first note. This recipe is from Lindy Frank, and I'm glad she finally sent it to me. Her cookies disappear faster than a popsicle on a hot day. Lindy calls these cookies ginger cookies, but since we already serve a cookie by that name at the cookie jar, we've renamed these Spicy Dreams. Hannah's second note. Lindy says to tell you that she makes these cookies festive by using colored sugar for holidays, i.e. pink for Valentine's Day, orange for Halloween, and green for St. Patrick's Day. A lot of the stuff, the rest of the notations are about how to properly do things according to who wrote the recipe. Like for instance, it said when you mix the butter and sugar and beat them until they're fluffy, it says that's what the phrase cream the butter and sugar means if you see it in another recipe. It's got the I always spray the inside of my measuring cup with Pam or other nonstick cooking spray before I pour in the molasses, and it glops right out without sticking to the sides. It mentions weighing your ingredients, and it does list the weight, like pound and 12 ounces. It does list that, which I actually prefer when they go by weight, personally. Mentions sifting all of the dry ingredients together, the flour and all the spices that go into it. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to mix them together like with a fork because I've already sifted my flour just to get the clumps out. Yeah. It says it'll make approximately 10 dozen cookies depending on cookie size. But you're going to want 1 cup soft butter, 2 sticks, 8 ounces, half pound, 1 pound, 6 ounces white granulated sugar, that's 2 2/3 cups, 3 eggs, 1 cup molasses, 2 tablespoons. So you're going to want 2 tablespoons of vinegar, white will do just fine, 2 tablespoons baking soda, 4 teaspoons ground ginger, 1 teaspoon ground cinnamon, 1 teaspoon ground cloves, 1 teaspoon ground cardamom, 1 pound, 12 ounces all-purpose flour, 6 cups, not sifted, and half a cup powdered confectioner's sugar for rolling. There is a note on that in her original recipe. Lindy used white granulated sugar for rolling. Lisa and I use powdered sugar so that we won't get the spicy dreams mixed up with the molasses crackles when we serve them on the same day down at the cookie jar. So after that point, it's pretty much the same as any other recipe. You mix the butter and the sugar, you add the eggs. Now, something different with this recipe versus most of the ones that come in the book is it mixes in the eggs individually and it doesn't beat them up first. So you mix them up as you add them to the recipe, almost like you do with box cake mixes. You add 1 egg at a time. Yeah, and then the molasses and the vinegar go in. That's the oven preheating. And then it sifts all of the flour and the cinnamon together and then it mixes that in. It does say that means she's probably a better baker than I am because I don't do any of that. I just mix in the baking soda first and then the spices. I stir everything up thoroughly and then I add the flour and 1 cup ingredients, stirring after each cup is added. I guess mix it in 1 cup at a time after you mix it up. Either sift it all together first or just mix it all together by hand and then add it in 1 cup at a time is the way I'm reading it. And then they roll it into walnut-sized balls. If it's too sticky, put it in the refrigerator. Roll it in your preferred sugar. Like I said, the book says powdered sugar, granulated sugar. If you want to make them festive, use different colored sugar for holidays. Or dye the sugar. I've seen people dye sugar in different colors to use it. Yeah, it says to flatten them down so they don't roll around when you move the trays. They bake for 10 minutes. They cool for 2, and they go on a wire rack. So, I have everything laid out. Let's get started. This is everything we need for today. So, we have our mixer. To this, we are adding the 2 sticks of butter first. That we will add our sugar. Now we let them get friendly. Now it says to mix in the eggs 1 at a time. Next, we have the vinegar and the molasses. And let that mix in. Well, that mixes. We have our flour, baking soda, ginger, cinnamon, cloves, and the cardamom. Take a little whisk. Now we're just going to add it a cup at a time. Oh, hello. That definitely needs to get knocked down. Not sure how you managed to not get mixed in, but honestly, this dough is very goopy. I foresee this having to go in the fridge. It doesn't seem terribly large amounts. I feel like the bigger ones take more than the mixer can handle. So I'm hoping it's not like an ungodly amount of cookies. I do want to talk about these. I have new trays. I got 2 of them. They are larger than your standard size. I'm thinking I can almost get double the amount on this tray. I haven't tested them yet, so that'll be interesting to see how many we actually end up with. We do still need to roll them in the sugar, if they'll roll at all. I'm not convinced they will. Yeah. These are very soft. I would just like to go on the record and say I prefer granulated sugar because powdered sugar is a mess. Such a mess. And it doesn't really shake off as well. Alright, so this is one tray. So there are 20 on there, which is a lot more than the other one pulled. I will start scooping up the rest and we'll see how many we get. So it took an age, about 30 minutes or so, but we finally got them all rolled. There are 106, just about 8.5 dozen. They're gonna bake for 10 minutes, cool on the rack for 2, and then get moved to a wire rack. So we have finished baking all of the cookies. It is a lot. So you'll notice there are 2 different styles. This one has cinnamon sugar on it, and this one is the powdered sugar. I ended up running out of powdered sugar about halfway through, and I just had the cinnamon sugar sitting around, so I coated the rest of them in that. They're really good. They're not spicy at all. They do have a lot of spices in them though. They're both really good. I think I prefer this one because it's a lot less messier to make. But on a scale of 1 to 10, they're bomb. They're really good. They will all get eaten, even though there's mass amounts of them. So next week, we are going to be making Kitty's orange cake, which has an orange fudge frosting to go with it. So I'm sure that will be awesome as well. If you are interested, join us next week. I hope all of you have a good one. Bye, guys.